Grandmaster Rene, thank you very much for accepting this interview about past, present and future.
Okay.
And the reason why we wanted to put up this interview was that the public already knows about a lot of your martial art background. So we didn't want to go into this one, but we put up a list of other questions. Before we go to the first question, you want to put up any general comment for this interview?
Well, the general comment is to make sure that people understand about the history of Escrima, especially in Europe, the history of, you know, not to get caught up in, you know, denials and things like that. History shouldn't be rewritten. History is what it is, and it's not history as he writes it, it becomes history. History is made. And so I just want to make sure that the legacy of what I did here in Europe stays as part of the historical value and the popularization of the Filipino martial arts here in Europe as well as the US.
Thank you, great. First question, how was your relationship to your teachers when you started out to train the Filipino martial arts, and how did it develop from that point on?
Okay, my relationship to my instructors was that the Filipino community was a very tight community, and almost everybody knew everybody. And if you didn't, then you know you may have been a few that you didn't know. But in the Filipino community, my dad was a contractor, a labor contractor, so he knew everybody that worked in the fields and the different transitional workers that came and gone, but my teachers, most Angel Kabbalists, the master of the system, of the Kabbalah system, was a friend of my dad, a friend of my family, worked with my mother, worked for my dad in the fields as a supervisor, as a leader. And so these are, Angel is like a person I grew up with from an early age on up. And, you know, whether he's in the club playing rummy, which the Filipinos did, I would see him there, he'd talk to me, you know, and all these people, it was just a very, very close-knit cultural group. Max Sarmiento, my other instructor for Cadena de Mano and Empty Hands, he grew up as the first generation, one of the first generation Filipinos in America. His dad came over, now he was there, and now he grew up in this society. And so we were very much connected in that manner. And then Leo Jerome, he stopped by to the school and teach. Dentoy Revelar was one of the premier practitioners. But I always had this very, very family-oriented relationship to him. It wasn't a school where you come in and you start to bow and you start to acknowledge who's who. It's you come in there and it's a friendly atmosphere. They say, hey, come on, let's practice, and then you start practicing with everybody around, all the instructors, and then, I mean, this is the way it was. This is the way that it was developed, because they had no structure on formalities. The structure was, this is the school where you learn it, and this is what you do.
But it didn't sound that like there is no official structure, but there was still discipline, right?
There was discipline in the fact that you're not, you know, there's a teacher-student relationship, and that is what you're looking at, and you're looking at what each person could give to you as an individual. You're not like subject to any peer pressure, being able to having to do this and do this and do this. We had a 12-step sort of leveling grades from 1 to 12, and each of those you learn certain things. And when you learned them, how you learned them, how good you learned them, was was also interpretive of Max, of Dentoy, of who else was the teachers there. Angel would say, this is the way you do it this way, and you did it that way. And perhaps Max had a different take on it, and Dentoy maybe had a different take on it, because their sizes were different. Max was a bulky guy, Dentoy was, you know, really, really fit, and I was tall. So the changes and dynamics of understanding what they did and how they did it was intriguing, and it was very interesting. And you came there as a volunteer, not as somebody you have to go to meet this level, to reach a level that is equal to someone else. You know, when I was learning, there was nobody else. You know, I almost was the only student, except for maybe 2 other people, and then people started joining in. But at the time that I was learning, I was it. So my competition was me, and I got the luxury of having all the instructors, you know, have me train with them, because I was very interested. I was really there every Wednesday, every Thursday, and I was there. I was there to the beginning of the class to the end of the class. I mean, that's how much I love the art and the culture that it gave me.
Great insight.